Welcome to the 4 Rooms podcast, where we explore the 4 rooms of entrepreneurship: health, wealth, scale, and relationships. Each episode is dedicated to opening new doors and uncovering insights that empower you to design your entrepreneurial journey to be both lucrative and fulfilling. And now, your hosts, Amber Spears and Brett Kaufman.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Brett Kaufman. I'm the co-host of the 4 Rooms podcast, the one-stop shop for everything you need on how to scale in your health, your wealth, your relationships. And like we always say here, you're only one relationship away. And today we brought in someone who is an expert at this, but something that makes me so happy, she's an expert at being so weird, which is why her and I get along so well. So help me welcome Miss Molly Mahoney to the podcast.
I'm so glad you helped me finally figure out my elevator pitch. I'm an expert at being so weird.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's great. I love it.
In fact, we now need to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Because that's Molly's thing. Every time she comes on stage, she sings. So would you like to tease the audience with your vocals?
Do you have a specific song, or do I do that song?
No, why don't you do Defying Gravity, Wicked?
Did this really just happen? Is that Defying Gravity? No, that's Wizard and I.
I hope you're happy.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you're happy now.
Okay, maybe not. Maybe, look at me, I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. Do you know that song?
No, I was not singing. Listen, I was voted most likely in 5th grade to win American Idol.
Oh.
But then in 6th grade, I hit puberty. So that was the complete end to that thing. Okay. So yeah, it hasn't been.
You're making it. You're making it. It's good.
Yes. Other talents amongst singing, but not
At some point, Justin Guarini and I are launching a podcast together. You can go to the Instagram of it, which is That Confidence Thing. We just have been too busy to actually make it happen. So all we have is the logo. But, Justin Guarini, American Idol. Yeah. It's good.
Well, you guys that's actually true?
It's true. If you go to That Confidence Thing, there's a really awesome podcast logo, and that's all it is, because we kept pushing it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have the whole thing mapped out. We have it's like an 8 episode thing, and we have every episode is mapped out. We just haven't had time to create it.
Oh my God, that's so fun. And it's all about bringing out your inner confidence.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I think it's the most important thing
for
people to get.
Well, because this morning at our stage, because, for those who aren't listening, we're at our LA intensive. There's about 50 to 65 amazing, all 7 to 10 figure entrepreneurs, just incredible people. You were on stage and you were talking about GPT stacking, which I do want to get into, but I want to pull back, and you were talking about how to find your weird. Can you go into that and what that actually means for people?
Okay. And I think this is so important. And also to backtrack one more second, I just really love you. And I'm so grateful that we're here having this conversation. So thank you. So when I was currently we help people create content. Back in the day, I was a musical theater performer, and it's really scary when you're going into an audition and feeling that you have to perform in a way in a 2-minute situation and impress people. And it just was really soul sucking at times, because you're always wondering, what do they want to see? How do I fit in? How do I show them what they want? Which you'll never know. So I realized during that experience there's some other things that happened when I was auditioning, where I realized the only way I'm going to make it in this is if I really just figure out who I am, and that's what I bring to the table. And so now when I work with business owners, we always start with figuring out what it is that makes you awesome.
Yeah.
My kids know we believe weird is wonderful. And so we have this list of 20 things that you write down about yourself, about what makes you awesome.
Okay, so let's break that down. So we have someone being like, oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm psychic.
Okay.
And so what that means is whenever I'm in this room and doing these kind of podcasts, I can feel the questions coming in. It's like a live call-in.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't hear them. Only I can hear them. And
I'm so glad Amber has you doing this because of your psychic abilities, which you've been hiding from me. That's part of your quesadilla of awesome, though. Yeah.
Thank you. That's so kind of you. So we just got a called in, and she's like, Molly, I love what you're doing. I'm just kind of boring. I'm kind of vanilla. How do I figure out what my quesadilla, what my weirdness is? So walk me through how I would even figure that out.
Yeah. Okay. So, and the reason that we call it the quesadilla of awesome is because everyone has something that makes them awesome. Everyone has something that makes them weird, like for reals. So you're going to make a list of 20 things that make you a uniquely awesome human being.
Okay.
This can be really easy for some people, but I remember one of the first like bigger clients that I had, she only had 3 things on the list. And then she was like, I don't know what I'm doing. She had a multiple 7-figure business and she's like, I can't make this list. So it's fascinating to me. Again and again, I learned from people who are uncomfortable doing this exercise. That's the sign that you need to do it. Right?
I like how you stared into your own camera as you were saying that.
I know.
You pay attention.
So you're going to make a list of the 20 things that make you uniquely awesome. It is an acronym. It is the word SAVE, which you may think has 4 letters, but it actually has 5 because I can't spell because my dyslexia is part of my quesadilla of awesome. Therefore, I just spell my acronyms wrong so that you get over it.
That's funny. Yeah, that's cute.
That's cute. So it's SAAVE. So it's your skill set, the things that you're naturally gifted at, like your psychic abilities would go on there, right? So your skills, then your appearance. And the appearance isn't about what other people think about how you look. It's about what you think about how you look.
Give me an example.
For
you,
for
I
me,
guess
there's
that's
a
easier.
couple things. So sometimes it can be something that maybe you felt a little uncomfortable about at some point. So like when I was in junior high, I used to get made fun of for my long legs and they used to call me Urkel. Which my kids think is hilarious.
That is funny.
Yeah. Which and it hurt my feelings in junior high, but now you can't tell in the camera, but I'm wearing like full shorts with really long legs. So now I like celebrate my long legs as one of my superpowers, right? I wear my sparkle pants. I do this whole thing, and now when I'm wearing something where you can see my legs, I feel more confident because now I've like turned it into something that I feel confident about. My hair is, if you're listening to this podcast and not seeing the video, I have a big like Cruella de Vil gray stripe in my hair. At one point when that first started going gray, it kind of looked like I had a bald spot on camera because I would dye my hair brown. And then when the gray would start to come in, it would just be gray right in this patch. And so I was like, how can I feel better about that? Well, I'm going to dye it blue. So I started accentuating the thing that maybe I felt a little uncomfortable about.
I love that.
And now I love it. Big earrings. I really love wearing giant earrings. They just make me feel more confident. So when I have these things in place, I know I can show up with more of like I'm here, I'm ready to go. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you I used to have a rat tail?
No.
We never had this conversation.
No.
Yeah. So when I was in 5th grade, the first Star Wars, so not number 4, like one comes out, and young Anakin had a rat tail. Okay. And so like I was like, I want to be a Jedi.
Yes.
So therefore I grew a rat tail because I would be a Jedi. I unfortunately found out that's not how you become a Jedi, which was very upsetting.
So here's the thing though, did it make you feel like a Jedi having it?
It did. It did. My mom loved it. And sometimes we'd go on vacation, I'd get it braided. So I'd come to school getting it braided. But I remember this one moment where I was in 5th grade now, because I guess I got it in 4th grade, but I was in 5th grade now. And I was getting bullied for it because we're at that stage, right?
Yeah.
And I remember there was a jar that we'd write down anonymous notes, and then once a week our teacher would gather us and like basically conflict resolution.
Okay.
So I wrote down, I'm so tired of people bullying me for my rat tail. And there was no one else in the room that had a rat tail, so people very fast knew that it was me.
Yeah.
So it ended up getting cut, which was a sad experience. But having a rat tail was part of my quesadilla of awesome.
Definitely was.
Yes.
100%. I love that.
So maybe I should grow it back out.
I mean, you totally could.
I don't know about that.
I
think the beard. I think the beard angle is a better.
And I think your beard is awesome. Yeah.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now
that's your appearance.
Yeah.
Then we've got activities. So those are things separate from your business. And at dinner last night, Jonna was talking about rock climbing, and it gives us something. We were talking about surfing, like talking about those types of activities. It not only affects your confidence, it gives you something to post about social media wise. It gives you something to talk about at at a dinner table. So the activities separate from your business are really important. Then the V is for your values, and that's really important to. I was thinking about Brett and I bought a domain together.
That's right. We're about to change the world. Tell everyone about our domain.
So one of my values is that, our top main values are kindness. Also, this has been for a very long time. We stand for joy as a fierce form of activism. So I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but years and years ago when the San Bernardino shootings happened, I had some friends who were in a mom group, and one of their friends, so like slightly removed, but one of their friends, her husband had been killed in that shooting in San Bernardino. And I just remember my kids were really, really young. And I remember standing in my kitchen and I was like, I had never felt so helpless that I wasn't going to get involved like on gun reform or whatever. Like that wasn't the direction that I felt like I could actually make any sort of difference in anything there. I just knew that I needed to do something that would make, honestly, selfishly, make me feel like I had some part in being able to help to curb whatever insanity was happening. And it's one of the only times in my life that I had a full, like, from the sky, from the universe, from whatever download, where I was like, hold up, you are actually doing something, which is to help kids, adults, whatever, to really understand who they are and know that they're loved and to stand for joy. And this is something that people say, like, energy is contagious, and that I have an ability to be able to help people pull out the things that make them amazing, and like the quesadilla of awesome, that kind of stuff. And imagine if everyone had that love in their life, if everyone had that ability to connect with their own unique joy, I believe that would curb some of the violence and the shootings and all that kind of stuff, right? So we started this Stand for Joy thing, and I have this plan that I want to go into schools and, as like a future plan, whatever. But with that, standing for joy, the kindness, all of this, it's really about deeply recognizing that we are better because of our differences, not in spite of them. And so Brett and I were talking last night about this, and with like political turmoil, we're like, why can't people just be more purple?
Yeah.
So we bought ilovepurple.com.
Yes. Big movement. Because my whole background was in bipartisan pro-Israel lobbying. So that's obviously, we were purple, right? That's exactly what we did. Yeah.
Anyway.
I love that.
Good.
So wait, before you go further, because I'm getting another psychic question coming in. The person's like, okay, there are things I stand for, but I am nervous to share it on social media because the potential repercussions, what will my family, friends, work think? How do I overcome that?
Okay. And I mean, we were talking about this a little bit last night too, that I have made a choice personally that when it comes to like political things, I do not talk about that's not something I talk about on social media, because I know in my community, I want everyone to feel that they have a safe space. Yes. And so we'll be on a call, and we have someone who is a virtual Jewish mother. That is her like business tagline. We have someone who is running the media for a Christian church. We have someone who's like a goddess queen in the corner. I don't know, but we had a call where I was like, I'm so grateful that we have so many people from different beliefs, backgrounds, and all of that. So in order to really make sure that in our community, everyone feels seen, I keep some of my own specific beliefs more personal to me, and I share a lot, but I keep some of those things more personal. But if anyone in my community is mad that I support like inclusivity, then they're not a good fit.
Yeah.
So it's okay if anyone gets mad about it, then they can go away. And if you really feel shame about your beliefs, maybe you need to check in and see if that's actually something you should believe. Yes.
It also could just be like programming from them they expressed in the past and got shunned and get ridiculed
that's a good point. That I think there is a little bit of, you do take a little bit of risk in showing up online. It can be scary, and my favorite thing to do is to play with the trolls and to love on them. So there is a chance that you may get people who disagree with you, who are upset that you're sharing things in a certain way. And it's really your own kind of barometer. But what I like to think about is, if you think of your ideal client or your ideal community member, is this a message that they need to hear? Or is this a message that you believe could really make a positive impact on someone? And if it is, then you kind of have a duty to share it.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
It's good.
It is important.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, where's the next one?
Okay, so that was your skill sets, your appearance, your activities, your values, and then the final one, E, stands for things you like to eat.
Like in your case, Brussels sprouts.
Exactly.
Regardless of your opinion on Brussels sprouts, post that online. Do you like Brussels sprouts? Yes or no?
Yeah, Brussels sprouts, yes or no, is the best engagement post ever. And it has been for like 10 years.
Yeah, I love that.
It's good. But it's a common denominator. We talk about, we come together over dinner tables, whatever, just talking about food. The Brussels sprouts thing has worked so well for so many years. And I've had people send me dish towels in the mail that say, every day I'm Breslin. 4 people have sent me the same dish towel.
That's really funny,
it's so weird. Yeah. And then they go to restaurants and they see Brussels sprouts and they send me pictures. It's like, it creates stickiness because it's something that is a common denominator. It's something that people see everywhere. So it keeps you top of mind. And then they see the Brussels sprouts and they're like, oh, Molly Mahoney, I've been meaning to hire her to do my social media.
Yeah. Ta-da.
It's like retargeting, but through their dinner plate.
That's really smart. I didn't even think of it that way. Yeah, it's a very subtle way of doing that.
Yeah.
Huh.
We have a thing that we call organic retargeting, which I used to talk about a lot, and I don't talk about it as much. But this is like a whole nother level of organic retargeting.
Yeah.
I need to come up with a good name for that. I like that.
That makes so much sense. One of the things I love about you and really admire is like you are very authentic. And I know that wasn't, maybe I'm wrong. I believe that it wasn't something you just entered into the world with. It might have been, you might have had it as a kid. It went away. Maybe it came back. Can you walk me through how you wipe the smudge off of being fake or having beliefs to really let you shine?
Yeah. So if you go back and watch any of my videos when I first started going live very often in 2016, you will see that I think I have a natural, like, confidence is something that my parents did a really great job of instilling in me. But the authenticity piece, if you watch my videos from 2016, I'm psycho. Like, I'm so over the top. And I think that was maybe, and I'm like over the top now, but this was a whole nother level where I was definitely more of, performing than I do now. And I think I am super grateful for the work that I've done to get into a flow where I don't feel it. Most of the time, I don't feel like I have to prove who I am.
Yeah.
It's like a level of trust where you really can, we talked about improv.
Yeah.
It's really, you can yes and through life. And I think one of the biggest, most important pieces of it, after you've identified your quesadilla of awesome, so you even know who the heck you are, right? Then you've got to figure out what the heck you want.
Yeah.
And if you know what you want and you're really clear about it in terms of like big life vision, then that is something that you can feel more ease into that as well.
Well, see, that's the thing, because I'm getting another like question right now. It's being downloaded in. That's the thing.
Wait, do you say that on every episode, or is
no?
it just
My psychic ability came right now. Just zapped in. It's wild. It's wild how this happens.
Okay, wait. Can we pause for a second? Because that right there is like you being brave enough to authentically joke about that, right? Like people say like, oh, but you're like creative and funny or whatever. No, it's just, I mean, maybe yes, actually, but it's that you're brave enough to be open to the downloads and the things like that and to keep going with it, right? So
that.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm trying to tap back into it. I'm trying to remember where I was. Because a lot of people, they're like, I want to go continue into the thread of being authentic, because mental health is something you and I talk about all the time. You are going through a bunch of shit. We talked about this. I had the worst month I've ever had in my entire life last month. Yet I'm grateful, because when I saw you, like, I could feel like you were sad, but I could feel that you were very also like okay, and knowing that you were going to be good. So there's something about your energy that you gave off just made me feel very secure in myself. I want to go into like some techniques and tools you use for your mental health that when you're in very challenging times, you can go into your toolkit and know that I'm going to be okay. What are some of those things?
So I am very like ADD, and I have a framework for everything. So this sounds crazy, but I have a framework that I use for this. And it's like about resilience also. And just like with authenticity, I believe that this is something that you practice.
Yeah.
So have we talked about Pema Chodron before?
No.
Oh, do you know Pema Chodron?
No.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So she is a Buddhist monk. And when I was in college, we did a month-long meditation retreat at the Shambhala Center.
You did a month long? Why are you just skipping over details like that?
Hold on.
How does this
wasn't
work?
A month. It was 10 days.
Okay.
That's crazy. My college had...
Just kidding. Molly's making shit up. Okay, continue.
You're making shit up again, Molly. Okay. So my college had a month-long inner term where we did a class that was like during that month, but the meditation retreat that I went on was only 10 days.
Still, I mean, 10 days is a long time.
And I had no experience in meditation or anything at all. Like,
That's
right? Cool. It was, none of us did. So, but it was so awesome because it was like, we got dropped in the middle of it. But Pema, I learned about her at this meditation retreat, and she has a book called When Things Fall Apart.
Ooh.
I should read it right now also, and so should you. Yeah, so I read it back then, and she has there's so much that I've learned from her, and she's just amazing. And I could go on 20 tangents about her, but this framework that I'm going to share is something that I've used, kind of inspired by some of the stuff that I learned from Pema, that when we have bad, quote unquote, things happen, right? If we can treat them like a blessing, right? Yeah. So find the way that we can move through them. And here's the framework. It's called, are you ready? Take your hand like this. And it's called, so if you go, I also really love giving hand motions and sounds to things because it's like an NLP trick that it makes it, connect to you. So it's FFTT. The first thing is you face it. And so you have to I think a lot of people think that I'm more Pollyanna kind of, and that's not the case at all. It's that you really are like, okay, here's the situation. Like this situation is here. So you face it. The next thing is you feel it, and you give yourself the opportunity to actually experience the pain or the stress or the anxiety or whatever that's coming up around this, right? And you may sit in the face it for a while. You may be like, what just happened? And then you're going to feel it. Then the magic comes when you twist it. Yeah. And so literally sometimes I'll just be like, how do I make this a positive? How do I make this a positive? How do I make this a positive? One time I was on a cruise ship with my husband. This was a very long time ago. And we had some drinks when we got on, and he decided he's going to be mad at me for telling the story, but I'm going to tell it. He's awesome. But he decided it'd be funny to heckle the dancer who was doing boat drill. Because he and I both worked on cruise ships before, and I don't know what planet he was on, but I literally wanted to throw him off the boat. I was so mad at him. And now it's funny looking back on it, but he was in the back of the cruise ship, shouting down, making jokes with not okay. But I used this method on that ship. I was like, how do I make this positive? How do I make this positive? How do I make this positive? Funny. Right. So that's the twist it. And then once you actually twist it, then you get to the most magical part of it, which is where you thank it. And so the more you can get in the habit of being like, what a blessing, or you're like, face it, feel it, twist it, thank it. And then you get to the other side. I
love that. Yeah. Can I share something that helps me?
Yeah.
So I've been suicidal twice in my life. Last month was one of the times, and a decade ago was the other time because everything that happened. One of the things that helped me get out of it was an exercise that I do where I write a letter as future Brett to present Brett, but I do it in 2 iterations. One I do that's 1 month to 6 months out. So I do it one day, and then the next day I'll do it 90 days to 120 days.
Yeah.
I get very specific. So I talk about business, relationships, romantic, and then also friendships.
Okay.
But so the letter always starts the same, where it's like, hey man, it's this date. Life is so amazing. I want to come back and tell you. Let me tell you about it.
Yeah.
And then it goes into being first off, you look so jacked and so lean. Keep it up. Oh my God, thank you. And then we get into everything.
Do you do this on a regular basis or only
every
when you're
day.
Feeling it?
Even this morning. This morning, this is now an ingrained thing for me.
Yeah.
Because when everything went down last month, it was I lost every security blanket that I thought I had. Yeah. And I lost my sense of self. I lost who I could trust. And it I knew that only I could really trust myself. So I was like, how do I make sure that anytime a negative voice pops in, I drown it out by being no, I can show you what your future is going to look like a month from now, 6 weeks from now, 90 days from now. Dude, it's written here. Why are you sad? This is what's going to be coming true. And I also learned that I'm an expert manifester.
Yes.
For good or bad.
Right.
And so we talked about this yesterday, being super intentional with my words has been so key. So I was like, if I say this and think this and feel this, it's going to come true.
Yeah.
And you'll appreciate this part. I anchor it by listening to You're Not Alone from Dear Edward Hansen.
Yeah, I love that.
Which is one of my favorite musicals ever.
Me too.
And by feeling it and seeing it, now I have all my different emotions and sensories combined with it. And then it's I'm in that.
Oh, that's so good.
And that has been what has saved me this past month.
You write all 3 of them every day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It takes me 5 minutes, but yeah.
We have a practice in our program where you connect with your daily vision. So we have something, actually, it's really cool. It's if you go to molly.live/dream activator, I didn't show it today because we didn't have enough time, but it's an AI tool that I built. It's totally free. You just answer some questions about what you would love in your dream life, and then AI will write out this amazing dream life for you. And so our practice is that we you know about the banana phone?
Yeah.
So
you told me this.
The banana phone is your direct line to the future. So it's like your direct line to the universe. It's manifesting with fruit. But so you can call this in on the banana phone and speak as if it's already happened. And so I love that. I love that practice. That's so cool.
You.
Yeah.
So actually, I want to do something that I love to do. This is the second time I've ever done this. Okay. So first, as we get into it, 5 years from now, what do you want? Let's start this way. What do you want your life to look like 5 years from now? Then this will segue into the experiment.
The pressure is on.
Yeah. But I want you to describe it.
I know. So what do you?
So I want you to describe family life.
Okay.
Business.
So my kid, I'm trying to figure out how my youngest son will be 15.
Aww,
my oldest son will be like ready to graduate. That's terrifying. Yeah. Amazing.
So like, what do you want your life to look like 5 years from now?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is like the space that we're living in. And so we have this beautiful piece of property that we purchased, that we have built a giant like living entertainment space. So it's made with rammed earth. Do you know what rammed earth is? Oh, it's really cool. So it's like cement basically, but it's actually rammed earth. So it's like compressed earth.
Okay.
And the whole building is made with rammed earth. It's very humongous ceilings and this beautiful view of the mountains and giant windows. And it's kind of a convertible space. So it can be just one big like ballroom, or it can be split in half. And then we have a bedroom and a kitchen there. So we can have lots of people to the house. And I'm so grateful for that space. And the boys are thriving and both going to the Orange County School of the Arts, which is really cool. And they're just like loving it. Frankie has got his college auditions all lined up and it's all like ready to go. He knows where he's going to school. Charlie has already started his own business because he doesn't need any of that. He's like his own little genius. My husband and I are awesome and great. We have our jazz band is back together again. Woo! It's called Her Lucky Stars. Yeah. And now that the boys are a little bit older, we're playing more regularly, which is really awesome. And our team is thriving, and we've launched our full... so I have a children's book that I wrote like 15 years ago. Yeah. That's me doing the math. Called Finding My Awesome. And now it's a program that goes into schools to help kids to teach and... help kids to feel more confident and it's like conflict resolution stuff that we work on with them in schools. And I've employed so many of my actor friends because now they're out there certified in the Stand for Joy method or Finding My Awesome method. I always forget what it's called, but our certification is out. We have a full, huge agency that's like thriving on its own and helping people to create content that makes a bigger positive impact on the world.
I love that.
It's really cool.
Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to lean back, get comfy. Okay. I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
And now I want you to imagine, because again, this is where my psychic abilities are really tapping in, that Molly in 5 years just walked in, right? Mm-hmm. She walked in, she's standing right in front of you.
She's looking so good.
She's like, damn, look at the sparkly pan. She's ready. And she said, I actually have an ability for this reality to become faster, not in 5 years, but you have to do these certain things. Oh. What are these certain things you have to do that you're playing too small in or limiting beliefs that can make this reality come faster?
Yeah. Okay, so what am I doing?
So now if you're having a conversation with that version of Molly, and she says, if you do these certain things, you can get to that level faster. So what are these certain things that you need to do to get to that level faster? Okay,
am I staying here with my eyes closed or am I?
However you want to do it.
Okay. So the first two things that came to mind, this is a cool exercise.
Like, I know.
The first two came to mind, which have nothing to do with like what maybe you would have think, but is stay off your damn phone first thing in the morning because I am always working at 6 a.m. I am in Slack every day at 6 a.m. because that's when my team starts and I'm still in bed and responding to them, which is like, I had gotten really good at getting up and walking in the morning and not doing that, but I had surgery recently, which has made it doesn't seem like having surgery on your wrist would make it hard to walk, but it's any sort of cardio like inflames my whole wrist and my arm starts throbbing. So it's been difficult. So that's the first thing. Stay off your phone in the morning. Drink less. I don't drink very often, and that's a lie. I drink several times a week, but I think I was telling you that I've been really into these like non-alcoholic, like mushroom type drinks or whatever. And I know that when I do drink more, if we're like out having fun, I don't feel as good. So I think drinking less would be good. Those are the two random things that came to mind.
That's perfect.
Yeah. And then just the third thing would be that when I tell my team I'm not going to be doing something, actually don't do it. Because a lot of the time I'll say, okay, you guys do this. And then I still jump in and try and help. So
that is very fair.
Yeah.
I love that. And that's perfect. That's what came to mind. So we're getting close to the end of this. We're wrapping up. You are at our LA intensive. There's about 50 to 65 amazing humans downstairs. You just finished presenting in front of them and got to connect with a lot of them. Yeah. So someone that's not here, how would you describe the room that you're in right now?
Yeah, there's so many things. So I was thinking about this at lunch today, that I don't know if I've ever been in a room where it's felt so easy to just sit down with anyone and jump, whether or not you know them or know what they quote unquote do or whatever, to jump right into a real deep, meaningful, like valuable conversation, without any need to get into, it's not that every conversation is about business necessarily, but it's a open, vulnerable space where there's no pretense. That is something I was thinking about at lunch today. And then also just like so much value and no gatekeeping from each other about the value, just people being really willing to help. I also was thinking about how cool it is that Amber has set it up in this way where like every person is getting served in their own unique ability. I know you've told me how awesome this is for years, right? But, and I'm not sure because this is my first, I've been to the big event, but this is my first smaller quote unquote event. Has it been like this before where they're all the breakout rooms? And so just having all these different opportunities to be able to be served in so many different ways by so many different people is really, I'm a mastermind junkie, as we've talked about. And I've not ever experienced that at a group before.
So someone that may not know us, or when you say being served in so many different unique ways, what do you mean?
So right before coming up here, there was a room that I was in that was all about, and this, I'm just going to say this one first. Let me actually go back a little bit. So yesterday, the first room that I went to was all about operations, and each person, there was maybe 6 of us in the room. Each person got basically a hot seat all about operations. But there's a lot of people here, so not everybody was in there doing that. The next one we went to was about delegation, and then each person got a chance to talk about their own unique situation, delegation, the hot seat with someone who specializes in that, right? Then today, right before coming over here, the room that I was in was with someone who works, she's like an informed trauma therapist or something. And she was like, any questions that anybody has or wants to talk about in this. And then she was like diagramming her frameworks around the way that we navigate our like, inner child or whatever. It's just really cool. I had an amazing conversation randomly with Kyle, who has this is not what he does business wise, but about like trusts and life insurance and things like that too. So wealth management, all that kind of stuff. It's varied in a way that is unprecedented, I will say.
Yeah, because we try to serve the whole entrepreneur, health, wealth, relationships, because that's what we believe. We're grateful that people in this room, thank God, are doing well financially. But there's no point to do well financially if you're not also rich in the other areas of your life. Yeah. So that's what we love about being in rooms like this. And we're so glad you got to experience our events. Very exciting.
It's awesome.
So where can people find you?
Yeah. So my company is called The Prepared Performer. But really, I am super active on Facebook. So if you look me up there, Molly Mahoney, or on Instagram, The Prepared Performer. But if you go to molly.live, which is a domain that I'm so stoked that I bought a while ago, molly.live, we'll send you all the places that you can find, all the places to connect. And I'm launching a new podcast called Authentically Awesome. So it's cool that was like some of the stuff we talked about. Will you be on my Authentically Awesome podcast?
No.
Great.
Absolutely not.
We have learned that Brett is really good at staying authentic to exactly what he wants. And now he's not on my list of people that I'll reach out to.
My evil twin will be on there, but I myself will not be joining the podcast.
Cool.
It'll be perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here. You absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hey, and thank you for being here too. I feel like I'm like Mr. Rogers today, just continuing to make sure that you know you're seen too. So it's good. good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap for another episode of the 4 Rooms podcast. I am Brett Kaufman, the co-host. Remember, you're only one relationship away, and keep doing it. We believe in you. Thank you for joining us.
As we wrap up today's episode, we have something special just for you. If you've been inspired by what we've explored today and you're ready to take your learning to the next level, then our 4 Rooms Mastermind live event is the perfect next step. And because you're a part of our podcast family, we're offering an exclusive 10% discount on your registration when you apply and are accepted. This is your chance. It's your chance to build relationships with other ambitious entrepreneurs like yourself, to dive deeper into the 4 rooms of entrepreneurship, and to connect with experts who can truly help accelerate your growth. Simply follow the event link in the description of this episode and use the promo code 4rooms10. That's FOURROOMS10 on your application to claim this opportunity. This offer is subject to application approval and it's limited, so don't wait too long to make your decision. Join us and transform your journey with the insights and networking that only our live events can offer. Thank you for tuning in today. We look forward to seeing you at the event and, of course, right back here next time on the 4 Rooms podcast. Until then, keep balancing and keep growing.